Hi, my name's Jason Whitney, and you're watching this video because you've decided to start the WiO diet and find out what all the excitement's about. Chances are you want to lose some weight or lower your cholesterol or blood pressure, or maybe you have diabetic issues you wish to overcome, and you've come to the right place. This is your orientation before your first consultation. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to go over what the program is, why it works, and what can be expected of you and what we're going to expect you to do through the protocol. So sit back and enjoy. You're going to love this. The WiO diet is a medically based treatment created from over 600 clinical studies on the most important health issues faced by Americans today. The WiO diet approaches these issues by dealing with what causes them, and that would be hyperinsulinemia, which is a precursor to metabolic syndrome. Rather than just treating its symptoms, your body is going to cure you. Now, hyperinsulinemia is caused by a dysfunctional pancreas. A pancreas that is in this state will produce too much insulin, making your body's chemistry very insulin predominant. Too much of this naturally occurring hormone will tell your body to store fat, among other things, rather than burn it. That is why weight loss is so difficult even when you diet and exercise, because your body has too much insulin floating around. Now, metabolic syndrome is defined by having any two of the following conditions: being overweight, having high blood pressure or elevated cholesterol, and having high glucose levels or diabetes. Now, research from these 600 clinical studies supports the process or procedure of rebooting your pancreas and how it may overcome the symptoms of metabolic syndrome. For example, our own studies show that the WiO diet protocol is very effective in resolving what causes metabolic syndrome. Here is our average result and some that you can expect to receive. 5.2 pounds of fat loss the first week, 12 inches of fat the first month. Your biomarkers will improve by 66% in the first 6 weeks. Now, 82% of the users of medications eliminate or reduce their dosage, and 100% of the people report improvements in feelings of well-being and health. When I talk about biomarkers, I mean things like your total cholesterol, your HDL and LDL, the levels of triglycerides, your cholesterol levels, your blood pressure, and also other cardiovascular health measurements. The diet, or the WiO diet name, is short for Your Weight is Over, Your Last Diet, because this will be your last diet. Now, our program is based on weekly supervision from a certified healthcare professionals. You'll be assigned a personal health coach that will meet with you weekly. We are going to ask you to commit to a few things. We're going to ask you to fill out a daily food diary, which is really, really easy. You can do it on your computer, or you can do it on your cell phones. You can do it throughout the day. The other commitment is that we ask you to follow our program without any cheating. Now, the biggest challenge is going to be the first week. And after that, our diet protocol is really very easy. Our program is a 4-phase protocol, which means that our protocol has a beginning and it has an end. You're not going to stay on this diet forever. Now, phases 1 through 3 is where the resetting of your pancreas occurs, correcting the dysfunction. Phase 2 and 3 are a phasing back to regular foods part of the protocol. And phase 4 is simply a healthy lifestyle for the rest of your life. Now, let me explain a little bit more about the details of each of the phases. Now, in phase 1, you're going to lose 90% of your desired weight, or until the protocol has helped your body to correct the dysfunction of your pancreas. So it is no longer producing more insulin than your body needs. Now, research shows that resetting the pancreas will take no longer than 12 weeks. If you have more than 60 pounds to lose, you may be in phase 1 until you lose 90% of your desired weight, but your pancreas will be reset within that 12-week period of time. Now, phase 2 and phase 3 are transitional stages, preparing your body for a lifetime of healthy success. These phases last 3 weeks each. When you start phase 2, we're going to start gradually getting you more complex carbohydrates into your diet. This allows your pancreas to adapt to a normal load of glucose and produce the right amount of insulin now that it's been corrected. Phase 3 is the most important of all the phases. If you finish phase 1 and jump right back into a high carbohydrate diet, you will undo all the benefits that you've achieved. Not only wasting time, but your money. Make yourself a promise that you will finish all the phases. I tell people not even to start our program if they don't commit to finishing phase 3. That's how important it is. Without this phase, you'll experience the same yo-yo effects that you have with other diets. And again, phase 4, when you graduate into this phase, it's recommended that you consume one of our MRP shakes. And most of our clients have come to depend on the nutritional value, and it just makes them feel good. You'll also find that drinking one shake a day will keep you looking and feeling your best. So let's recap. Phase 1 is expected to last 12 weeks. Phase 2 and Phase 3 will last 3 weeks each. For those clients that have over 60 pounds to lose, for example, you'll want to be in Phase 1 beyond 12 weeks. You should plan to commit to be on the protocol for a total of at least 18 weeks. Now let's talk about why other diets, or why this diet program is even needed, because there are so many. We have enough of them, right? First, I'm going to go through a few statistics for you. 31% of Americans have high cholesterol. There are actually different kinds of cholesterol. Most people are too low in the good kind and way too high in the harmful kind. Do you know what your blood pressure is? Because 27% of adults have hypertension. Now, it's called the silent killer because you can't feel that you have it, yet it can cause severe health risks. Do you know any diabetics? 6.5 million people have diabetes and they don't even know it. Over 11% of the population have already been diagnosed. This is a disease that you don't want to have. Type 2 diabetes is a choice. It's determined by the foods that we eat. Are you overweight? Because 67% of Americans are. And being just 11 to 18 pounds overweight increases the risk of type 2 diabetes by 200%. Being overweight is often a cascading condition that leads to high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, and other cardiovascular issues. And what is your cardiovascular health? Now, I don't mean are you fit enough to run a marathon. Do you know how clogged and brittle your arteries are? How about the effect that stress is playing on your body? Now, don't feel bad if you don't know these answers, because most people don't. That's why we're going to test you during your first consultation. And the percentage of people having these issues is why another diet program is needed. These numbers have doubled in the last 30 years, and all of them are completely preventable. That's why the WiO Diet was created. Our corporate motto is to overcome hyperinsulinemia in America. Providing you with the solution to hyperinsulinemia will empower your body to heal itself from being overweight, having high cholesterol and blood pressure, and eliminating the chances of getting diabetes. The WiO clinic that you're going to is not a franchise. There's no monthly obligation. You pay each week as you see the immediate results. WiO is not a multi-level company or an MLM, and WiO is an easy referral program that will enable you to get the WiO program at no cost just by sharing results of the people that you know. Now, how big is metabolic syndrome? We're faced with a national epidemic according to the CDC. In fact, approximately 80% of the US population has fallen victim to at least one of the deadly symptoms that I've already mentioned. That means that 80% of the people that you know have one of those issues that I went through. And I've already given you the percentages of how many and how high they are. Conduct your own survey. Ask the next 5 people you come in contact with if they have any of the 4 issues that I've listed. You'll discover how huge this problem really is. By starting the WiO diet, you're doing more than just accomplishing one of your personal goals. Let's say if it was weight. You'll be saving some big money, and you will live longer and happier. Studies show that those that have metabolic syndrome shorten your lives by 20 years or more. If you have it, you'll pay more or be denied health insurance, and an estimated to spend $100,000 more in your lifetime in medical bills compared to someone who doesn't have metabolic syndrome. And the quality of life will be much, much lower. By starting this diet, you're likely to avoid all of this bad news. The good news is that these things are completely preventable. And if you already have it, it is reversible in nearly every single case. Now, let's talk about what the real cause is, and that is hyperinsulinemia. Metabolic syndrome is caused by hyperinsulinemia. It just means that there's too much insulin floating around in your body. And in this case, if you have a hyperinsulinemia, you're likely to also have insulin resistance. And that is a sleeping monster. When your cells become resistant to insulin, the insulin receptors on the surface of all your cells have begun to malfunction. As time goes on, your blood sugar rises higher and stays up longer after eating, despite the enormous amount of insulin that's flooding your body. And insulin's there to lower your glucose levels. Here is the sleeping giant, and this is where it wakes up. It is a direct result of a tired, overworked, dysfunctional pancreas. Now, this less popular yet vital organ has to work harder and harder to keep up with the types of and quantity of foods in the typical American diet. The American meal and the food recommendations in the food pyramid that you and I see forces your body to process a lot of carbohydrates, and our snacks that we eat are very high in sugar or corn syrup. All the while, your cells are becoming more and more resistant to the increasingly high volume of insulin. If you eat too many carbohydrates, as most Americans do, you'll also have high levels of insulin, and you may have what I've already mentioned is hyperinsulinemia. So let's talk about some myths. The high cholesterol myth. Insulin activates the enzyme that controls the cholesterol making mechanism in your body. Fancy talk for saying that your body actually makes 70 to 80% of all the cholesterol in your body. You don't get it from the food that you eat. In fact, every cell in your body has the ability to make cholesterol. Now, most don't. Most is made in your liver and your intestines and your skin. Only 20% comes from the food that you're eating. This is where the myth begins. You might be wondering now, if cholesterol is so bad for us, why does my body make it? What does it have out for me? Cholesterol is so vital to your health that you need it to stay alive. When your body stores fat or builds muscle or makes any cell, your body must make new cells, right? These new cells are made up with cholesterol. This is how insulin acts as a growth hormone in the production of these cells. So cholesterol is the structural framework of these new cells, just like a 2x4 are the framework in your home. If I handed you a glass of water and then waved a magic wand to make the water disappear, what would happen to the water? Well, it would run through your fingers, right? That's exactly what cholesterol does for our cells. It holds our cells together. In fact, if you removed all the cholesterol in your body, like the water with no glass to hold it together, our cells would literally fall apart. If you want to lower your cholesterol without medication, you need to do it by commanding your pancreas to make less insulin. This is the end of part 1 of your orientation. Make sure you watch the next video so you will be ready for your first consultation.